Hello everyone, this is Disco Ferrari here, and I'm making a video about how to navigate the Japanese version of Dark Souls 3. I promise it's not as hard as you think, and I've made a video including the character creator and the intro to the game to prove that you can do it. Throughout the video, I've made translations with the help of my brother Windcask and E10, one of his Twitch buddies, to several of the screenshots in order to help with some of the more difficult menus and options. So without further delay, here we go. Okay, so right off the bat, we're going to jump into the character creator. Now, as you can see, the Japanese versions are a little bit difficult to navigate here, but with the help that we have with the English translations on the left, I think we can make it happen. All right, so all we have to do is pick a name. I'm just going to pick the name Bobby. As you can see, English characters here, so it makes that a lot easier. Gender, it prompts you if everything's going to be reset, like as far as facial perks and stuff like that, body type and stuff if you switch genders. So not a lot of physical difference between the two, but there is a little bit. So age, you can't see with the knight's armor on, but that's what those mean: young, medium, and old, basically. This is the class system. A lot like the other games, although I didn't see the difference between the thief and the assassin before. And also there's a shaman and a cleric. I think that's in Dark Souls 2, but I'm not sure. And then you can see there it's basically the same. The perks are pretty much the same. If you've ever played a Dark Souls game before, you know which class you like to play with. So I am streaming it right now on Twitch using the magician, but for this one I'm going to choose the assassin. Or I'm sorry, the thief. Okay, and something extra to note here. There's a I'm not really sure what most of the blessings mean, or the extra perks. And I didn't translate the different visual faces. I think it's pretty much self-explanatory, what they look like and stuff like that. So, but I didn't go through. I didn't translate the extra perks. I'm really not sure what most of them mean, but you know, we'll figure it out as you go along. There you can see you can change your body types and stuff like that. So, and this screen is just sort of a confirmation screen of, are you okay with what you look like, what your class is, that type of thing. So at the very bottom there, that's the acceptance of the character. And are you sure? Something to note too is the circle button rather than the X button is the confirmation here. So that's important to note. Keep that in mind when you're choosing your character and going through the game in general. It's a little bit easy to get confused, but you know, as long as you keep that in mind, you'll be fine. Now, I cut out the intro sequence, but I do want to say that intro sequence is all in English. My brother Daniel said that's very common for Japanese games to be in English, at least when you're speaking. I didn't know that, but it was very nice. It's encouraging because as an English speaker and trying to play this Japanese version, you get a lot of Japanese, but there's also some English in there. So it's a lot easier than you think. So the first thing here, it tells you R1's normal attack. This is sort of the tutorial explained to us by messages on the ground. R2 strong attack. Basically, all of the controls here are the same as Dark Souls 1 and Dark Souls 2. If you want to go more in depth with them, you can watch another video, but I'm assuming that most people here that want to play the Japanese version of this game have already played a Dark Souls game, are already familiar with the techniques of controls. Nothing radically different here except for the circle button is the accept button now, and X does your jump, your run, that type of thing. Now, a mechanic that's introduced into this game is the magic Estes flasks. If you look below the health bar, the blue bar, that's what the magic meter is, basically. They call it an FP meter. I'm not really sure why, but basically it's MP, magic points. If you're a magician or a cleric or something like that, you're going to need to worry about that. Right now I'm a thief, so I don't need to worry about it. There's the L2 is the parrying move, and explained right there. L2 and then R1 to finish them off. So that one, that's a stun block. If you press forward and then R1, if they have a shield up, that's how you break their shield and you're able to hit them then. Squares using the item. Don't really have any items to use right now except for the Estes flasks, and that'll be coming up here pretty soon. So because I'm a thief, I started out with a bow. You see the bow is equipped on the left hand side. Not going to use that for now. Only in rare cases I find that the bow is useful. So as you can see, a lot of bleak terrain, definitely a Souls game, and there's a bonfire. So you light the bonfire, circle button, English bonfire lit, that's kind of nice. And then I put in at the top here the translations of the menu. It's the Tomb of Ash, and you only have one option right now is to leave. Now, this intro section, there's only a couple people in here before the boss. Pretty easy, pretty self-explanatory, not much to say. Except for that I'm bad at this game. Actually, I'm not bad at Souls games. My brothers, neither of them beat the first game. I beat the first and the second game. My younger brother Aaron, he's much better at the second game. Has put probably about 300 hours into it. So he's definitely the expert when it comes to PS2. I feel like I'm familiar with. I have a good broad background when it comes to all the Souls games. I'm not the best, but I'm also not the worst. I like to tease people and say that. Yeah. I'm just really not good at parrying, I guess, is the big thing. I have played the Sorcerer. I think the Thief is my favorite because he's quick and he doesn't rely on range stuff too much, except for the bow. So he has that option. But I feel like I'm most effective with the Sorcerer. With the spells and stuff like that. I didn't understand it for a long time, but I finally was able to. And, this game actually is a lot easier, I think, as a sorcerer. Trying to kick that guy off the ledge there. Good to go. And then we got some fire bombs there. You can tell by most of the pictures what things are if you're familiar with the Souls universe. It has the fire bombs, it has the throwing daggers, it has the Estes flasks. The only new thing that I put in there is instead of humanity to restore your life or your humanity, yeah. There's not that there. There's flame embers and stuff like that. I'm not really sure what that is, but I won't spoil too much because part of the big enjoyment I get out of the Souls games is almost nothing is explained to you. And especially in Japanese, it's going to be an added layer there. So there's a boss coming up there. You can see him down there. He doesn't attack you right away. So I'm going to go and lay down in the bonfire to restore my one Estes flask and the rest of my health. I'm going to need it in this boss fight. It's actually pretty tough. Even for an intro area, I feel like it's a little bit unnecessarily hard. Whenever I played as the mage especially, he has almost no physical defense, so it was pretty tough for me. There's a little shortcut there. Avoid most of the guys. Don't take any damage. The bow guy is really easy to dodge too, so not a big deal there. Then as you approach this guy, I wasn't really sure how to do this at first, but stand right in front of him, press the circle button. That's your sword that you're going to need for later. So it disappears, and suddenly you're ready to fight the boss. Now, I tried to translate it, which actually is pretty tough, but it translates into Judge of Ashgunda. As you can see, he has a huge range on him. He's pretty quick, but doable. Something you have to watch for too, if you're a big fan of backstabbing like I am. Most of the enemies in this game can be backstabbed, but they're resistant to backstab, and whenever they get up and you know you're positioning yourself to either hit them again or something like that, most of them have a shield break that they do, so that it definitely discourages you from backstabbing twice. That was pretty close there. Yeah, I almost lose this battle, actually. And this is my first try on well, I should say I played it before, but this is my first try on this character. Oh, that was a bad decision. Oh, no. And there's a special thing that happens with this guy. When you get him about to half health, he decides to transform into this horrible, terrifying creature that could be considered a spoiler. That thing is just terrible. And the range is just huge, and it still has its normal attack. I don't know how I was able to avoid that one attack. It should have killed me. But, yeah, so that's the Judge of Ashgunda. Get a Helical Sword from it. And I'm guessing that Ember Restored thing, I like the left leg there. The Ember Restored thing is similar to humanity in that way. I'm not sure how it all ties in, but we'll find out as the story goes along. Quick rest at the bonfire there. Again, the only option is to leave there for right now. So we'll go up, we'll leave the area, and to the land beyond. Now this is still the tutorial area. Usually in the Souls games they give you a quick tutorial area that sets up into the area where you can level up, and there's a little bit more explanation. This one even goes so far as to give you a blacksmith and a shopkeeper right off the bat. As you can see, the gestures there, they have directions with a controller. I haven't figured out how to make those effective yet. I just basically went through the gestures and selected one. The nice thing about this game, though, is I think they really leaned into the PvP interaction, and the gestures, there's quite a few of them. Even as you rested at the first bonfire, you can see it gave you a gesture that is resting at a bonfire. There's already several built-in gestures, and I haven't been able to translate this yet, so I'll leave that to you guys to translate. Whenever I tried it, we came up with something weird, and I didn't want to put it in here to be completely wrong. Okay, and that's where the Helical Sword is. And now we talk to our lady who can level us up.
Welcome to the bonfire, unkindled one. I am a firekeeper. I tend to the flame, and tend to thee. The lords have left their thrones, and must be delivered to them. To this end, I am at thy side.
Okay, so we have 3 different options: level up, speak, and leave. Pretty traditional.
Very well. Then touch the
this level up
darkness
screen,
within me.
especially in Japanese, is very difficult.
Take
So what I did is
nourishment
I
from
went
these
ahead
sovereignless
and
souls.
I took a screenshot picture of this, and I put all of the English definitions in here. Screenshot this. This will be nice in the future. It's pretty standard leveling up for a Souls game, there's only one or two things I wasn't able to translate. But go ahead and just screenshot this. I have it saved on my phone. Playing through it, I'll use that whenever I need to translate something. But you know, usually it's pretty self-explanatory. First one's vitality. The only one here is the magic has a meter now, so that's the second one down. Because I'm a thief in this mode, I don't really need that. I need dexterity and endurance are my key features. So up to dexterity, able to level up 4 times from level 5 to 9. In the bottom button down there, the 2 symbols, that's the accept. So circle that, hit yes, and we're leveled up. Not too bad at all.
Ashen One, to be unkindled is to be a vessel for souls. Sovereignless souls will become thy strength. I will show thee how. Ashen One, bring me souls plucked from their vessels. Farewell, Ashen One. May the flames guide thee.
As a matter of fact, most characters have an options menu with them, and the bottom 2 are probably talk and then leave.
A pleasure to make thine acquaintance, Ashen One. I am but a humble handmaid of the shrine. Weapons, armor, trinkets, and spells. I've lots of little things to ease the burden of a weary traveler. And yes, I'm undead too, but not so charitable as to give my goods away. Ashen One, fetch souls and bring them to me. As is thy wont? No?
Yep, so this is the Shopkeeper. Item purchasing. The nice thing too, item selling, that was completely devoid in the first one, and the second one it was hard to do. So you can sell items in this one, you can buy items. Most items aren't worth buying right now. Depends on your class and how your style of play is. I just went ahead and sold the broken sword just because it clutters up your inventory. It's really not worth anything, but you know that's how you do it. It's pretty simple.
Ashen One, be sure to bring more souls.
Okay, now we go talk to the blacksmith. He's pounding away just like in the first game. Actually, I think it looks like the guy in the first game.
Newcomer, I see. I am Andre. I serve at this shrine as a humble smith, forging weapons. You're in search of the Lords of Cinder, I trust. A toilsome journey, I'd wager. You'll require good arms. Let me smith you weapons. I am a smith, such is my purpose.
Okay, now this is the thing that I definitely missed going through it the first time. The the menu definitions are very tough for the blacksmith. The first one's the upgrade. If you want to strengthen your weapon or shield, that's the place to do it. The second one is the alteration. You can right off the bat infuse fire, ice, and then I think it's divine is the other one. I can't really read that. But pretty straightforward. Repair. It's important to note that if you rest at a bonfire, things automatically repair. You don't need to take it to him unless it's broken. Another cool feature is you can do all magic Estes flasks or all health Estes flasks. And because I don't have any magic, there's nothing to do there. Strengthening the Estes flasks, I'm not really sure what
protection are
items are
sturdy
needed for that,
enough
but,
by and large.
it's nice you go
But when
him rather than the
overused,
other
they'll
girl.
eventually break. When their durability is low, repair becomes a necessity. Use a powder, or simply rest at a bonfire. But should chance impel them break, bring them me. I'll hammer them back into shape. They take no pleasure in breaking, I assure ye. So handle them with care, if you would.
As you can see, he's got quite a personality. And then that's pretty much the armorer. And as you can also
Pretty,
see,
be careful. I don't want to see my
as you
work
can also see, there's
squandered.
a ton of people, or a ton of places for people to be around here. As you go throughout the world, you're going to find people, you're going to rescue them, and then there's seats up there. I'm not sure what those are all about, but so you can warp to your first place here. I do want to tell you, and I put it in here, there's a spoiler warning. I don't fight any enemies or anything, but I wanted to see, just in case you don't want to see the first area, stop watching now. Okay, so this is the opening area. Definitely familiar. Castle-like, sort of reminds me of Undead Burg a little bit. It's not, but... And there we go. Then you get the name of the first area. Kind of looks like Anne Orlando a little bit, only a lot dirtier. High Wall of Ruzuriku. Glowing there because of the ember that you got. Cool. So we got the controls down, we got the environment down, we know how to upgrade, we know how to repair stuff with the blacksmith, buy new items with the merchant. So I think you guys are all ready to play this game on your own. Now, as far as the bonfire menu goes, there's the warping, magic attunement, storage box, and then leaving. So all pretty self-explanatory there. We already warped to the opening area. You can warp back to the place where you level up and with the merchants and stuff like that. You can put stuff in the storage box, but honestly, if you don't need it, just sell it. And it doesn't take equipment load, just like the other games. As you get more areas, there's more places to warp to, obviously. Trying to think if there's anything else. You know, most menus, whenever there is Japanese, if you just look at things and if you're familiar with the Souls games, you really should have an easy time getting through stuff. Like I said, when talking to people, if you don't know what the options are, usually the last two are speak and then leave. So the last thing I want to go over is the options menu. This first one is to equip and unequip weapons, just like the other games. You have your armor down there in the middle. You have your rings, just like the other game. You get to hold 4 of them this time, which is really cool. And the bottom is where you put items and stuff. You can put your fire bombs and stuff like that there. You have your arrows at the bottom, or at the top right. A lot of the attributes and stuff are the same pictures as the other games, so that's not a big deal. There's your basic layout of your dexterity and stuff. You can use the leveling menu to look at that. But here's the control scheme right here. The jump button, you can change it. I wouldn't recommend it. It's pretty nice. You got the camera rotation speed here. The other options are a little bit nebulous, so we weren't able to translate those. So you don't need to worry about them. Right there, the volume, I upped the voice volume because it's English. I made it way higher than everything else. I think that's important. Go ahead and do that if you are playing this version in Japanese. You will need the English voices. This has to do with player interaction. Not sure what exactly all of them mean, and this is the logout menu. So tells you how long you're going to play and what level you are. All right, guys. Well, I think you're ready to play the Japanese version here. If you need help, just reiterate with the video, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.